Hello, welcome back to my channel and Happy New Year. I hope you all had a lovely festive period, whatever you got up to, whether you choose to or to not celebrate. I hope it was just glorious. Now, I am here today with my first video of 2024, and we're already off to an excellent start. I am here with a Cos try-on. So I'm going to kickstart, I've kind of divided these up into categories, and I'm going to kickstart with my first and favourite category, which of course is knitwear. Right, okay, now it's no secret that I love knitwear and Cos knitwear in particular. I know that I keep doing shameless plugs to these videos, but I did do a high street cashmere review video, and Cos was one of the brands that featured heavily in that video. So if anyone is interested in my take on a few different brands that have cashmere that are on the high street or online high street, then I will leave a link to that video down below because I do go into quite a lot of detail on that one. Now, this is not cashmere, this is 100% wool, as I just mentioned. Now, I got this in a size medium, and actually, I think those of you regulars will know that I quite like a big slouchy knit, and by no means is it tight fitting, and it is waisted, so it is supposed to fit a little bit more snug with this elasticated section in the bottom, if you can see. And it has this back wing design, so you will need to be careful in terms of coat. Lots of people ask me what kind of coat you would wear with any kind of knitwear that does have a back wing. You need to wear something with a dropped sleeve. Occasionally they might be called drop shoulder, and it's those coats which are slightly more cocoon in shape. So their sleeves start in a similar area to where a back winged sleeve on a jumper would, and that's why you can get away with wearing back wings under those kind of coats. So yeah, in terms of knitwear, I like this. It is, as I said, wool. There is no cashmere in there, so it's not, by no means is it itchy. It is still very, very soft, but it doesn't have that edge that cashmere does in terms of softness. It is, I do like this funnel neck. I'm a big fan of a funnel gut neck because sometimes if you get the turnover ones, either a cowl or polar neck, they can just feel super chunky, whereas a funnel is just one piece of structured knit fabric which goes up your neck, and I quite like that. And I'd say for £95, it's pretty decent value given that it is responsible wool standard wool. Wash-wise, obviously I can't comment on anything like that, but all of my other knitwear from Cos, which is predominantly cashmere, that all washes really, really well. And again, I'll leave a link down below in the description box to a video that I made, God, I think it was maybe like 3 or 4 years ago now, on how I care for my cashmere. I'm struggling with my words today. We're just warming up. Right, let's move on to my next item, which I've banged on enough about it, but we're going to do some more anyway, and it is Cos Cashmere. So this is the chunky pure crew neck cashmere. No, sorry, chunky pure cashmere crew neck. This is 6-ply 100% cashmere. And I can feel it. There's just nothing that beats that cashmere feeling. And as you can see, this one is kind of a nice, it's definitely not cropped because it comes just below my hip bones, but it's a nice sort of shorter length, where if you didn't want something that was super long, maybe if you're doing a little bit of a half tuck or a tuck, then I think this kind of length is perfect. Or if you just wanted to have it over a pair of tailored trousers or leggings or something, then this is a really good length. This was £200, and as I've said many times before when talking about Cos Cashmere, my personal tried and tested, washed, worn for several years, my personal opinion is that it is worth every single penny. And in fact, when it comes to comparing this to many higher priced brands, not necessarily high street, but luxury brands, and that's not to say that I've tried every luxury brand of cashmere, but if I'm just comparing it to some luxury brands that I have tried, this still comes out on top. So yes, I know I sound like a broken record, but this is an absolute winner. Right, let's move on to the next item of knitwear. I know they're all lighter coloured, but that just so happened to be what I ordered. So apologies, but there are lots of these that come in different colourways. Right, my first thing to say is that if you are slightly intolerant to any kind of natural fibres, mohair tends to be a very, very triggering, itchy kind of fibre. So if you have any kind of slight intolerance, I would avoid this. I've just laid this over a basic vest which has no sleeves and I can feel it slightly itching because I don't really have an intolerance to natural fibres. I can wear mohair, wool, cashmere obviously. But I can feel the mohair because mohair is quite a long fibre, which is what gives it this very sort of fluffy effect. I can feel the mohair definitely not causing irritation, but I can just feel it on my skin and it's almost not a super pleasant feeling like the feel of cashmere. So if you're an itchy person and you know, kind of have an intolerance to natural fibres, I would say avoid this. If you don't, it's actually a very nice knit. Another thing to mention about mohair, especially when blended with wool, it will fluff everywhere. So I've just popped this over the black tailored trousers that I had on and it has left some fibres. Fortunately, these trousers are super, super easy to brush off, but it's molting quite a bit. In terms of the style, like style and fit, I actually really like this. It's quite a boxy fit, very similar length to the chunky cashmere jumper that I just tried on. It's that really good sort of just below hip bone kind of length. So you could do a little front tuck with it if you wanted. You could do a half tuck, or you could just leave it untucked and it's not got too much fabric and isn't too long to just sort of feel sort of drowning. Yeah, this is definitely not something, if I were going to keep anything, it's definitely not something that I would keep just because I can feel it on my skin. You could always wear a longer sort of long sleeve basic under there, but just the fluff in general coming off this, we've already got 42 hours to contend with when it comes to hair everywhere. So I just wouldn't want to add to the mix with a mohair jumper. But it is quite a nice classic piece, I think. I just feel like it maybe would have been better if they'd have done it in 100% wool or even in cashmere. Right, let's move on to my next category now, which is denim. And I've actually just got one pair of jeans to show you because I just kind of wanted to showcase one item from Cos's denim range. Right, when I put these on, I was like, oh, they're a bit slouchy, but because I made this order so long ago, I do seem to remember it saying on the website that these are almost like a 90s grungy jean, which now that I have them on makes absolute sense because that is very much what they are. They have a slightly lower crotch. They do have that very sort of relaxed vibe about them. If I'd have sized up, I think I'd have worn them slightly higher on the hips, which might have been a bit better, but then I'm having a bit of an issue with length. The cotton, however, is very soft. They don't quite feel as structured as, say, a pair of Levi's, but the cotton is nice and soft, which makes them comfortable. They're just not my kind of style. That's all I can really say about them. The leg comes up a little bit too short for me, and they don't actually do different leg lengths in each style of jeans. So the longer pairs that I found just happen to be called super long jeans. That's just the style of them, but they don't offer different leg lengths. So I'd say if you were average height, these would be perfect length. If you're petite, you could roll them up a little bit, but yeah, these are not the denim for me. Right, so I only had this one pair of jeans to share with you guys. I'm now going to move on to basics, which actually I did get changed into a basic so that I could show you the jeans. Now, to be honest, I'm not sure how I feel about this. The fabric is really nice. I believe it's 290 GSM, which relates to the thickness. It's not super thick, but it's also not super thin. It's just a really nice medium, sort of a medium area of thickness. And it feels nice and soft. It's nice, of course, that it's organic cotton. But if you can see here in this side camera, the length. Now, my height is all in my legs. So body-wise, I don't normally have an issue. I have slightly longer arms, so I have very long limbs, but my body is just average body length. But this t-shirt, again, if I can just point out my hip bones are here, I'm used to a slightly longer t-shirt. Now I've upsized in this. I'm actually wearing a size large. I ordered a large and a medium, and when I got them out of the box, I was just like, it's gonna have to be a large, because I do like a nice baggy fitting t-shirt, a nice sort of relaxed style. And in terms of that kind of fit, I really like that. There's nothing I could fault about it. I maybe might like slightly wider arms and maybe slightly longer arms, but otherwise I couldn't really fault it. But my issue here is with the length. So the jeans that I've got on are low rise, and it doesn't leave you with a lot to tuck in, because I like to tuck and then blouse. So if I was wearing a higher jean, then they'd be fine, but otherwise I just feel like you need another couple of inches of length down on the bottom for this to be an appropriate t-shirt for me anyway. The second basic I have, and this does come in lots of other colours, and I can just sense that it's going to be the same kind of thing. They really don't like making longer items. Right, okay, so size-wise, I don't really know why I did this, but I just bought this in a medium, and it's not quite as slouchy as I would prefer. By no means is it skin tight, but it doesn't have that kind of slouchy vibe that I like. That said, by reducing the amount of fabric, it would look better under a blazer, for example, because it's not so bulky. But yeah, I think I would probably upsize again in this to a size large. So they do come up a little bit slim fitting. It does feel like a really nice basic if you just wanted something that's long sleeved. Maybe not super appropriate for winter. And again, in next week's video, I've got some really nice basics, or slightly more elevated basics, but for winter. So come and check that out. £35, I think that's not a bad price for basics. I think £30, £35, 40 max is what I'm sort of usually paying for my basics these days, and that is because they're organic cotton, which always inflates. I say inflates the price, it's actually fairly priced, but that's what makes it more expensive, higher priced. Right, moving on to my next category now, which is trousers. So these are slim fitting tailored trousers. They are stretchy. So that's the first important point to mention. If you were looking for a work trouser, or even just a trouser like how I wear all of my tailored trousers, kind of wear them with trainers and then a chunky knit, or a basic and a blazer. I kind of wear them a bit sort of down paired with the trainers. So if you were looking for a comfortable pair, yes, they are definitely comfortable. They in fact feel slightly more like a slim fitting legging, but more of a nicer fabric, like not so much of a jersey fabric. The website says that they are ankle length. On me, they are probably 1.5 inches above ankle length. So again, if you've got longer legs, something to bear in mind. I have a 34-inch inseam, so that is where I am at with these trousers. I wouldn't have said they're completely appropriate for winter, but they are a nice pair of more fitted tailored trousers. I tend to go for something a little bit looser, a little bit baggier. These are a nicer, slightly more fitted pair, which I do actually have a pair from Cos, which are very similar to this, but they've got zips on the ankles. They came up slightly longer, and I absolutely love those. Similar fabric with sort of stretch, very comfortable. And they are something that I wear a lot, but more so in like autumn and spring, when you don't mind having a crop trouser and having your ankles on show a little bit more. Yeah, these are pretty nice. I believe they went down in the sale to £35, which is not bad, but given that price, I'm not entirely sure if they are available anymore. Right, let's move on to the next. These are black tapered elasticated wool trousers. I believe these were 115 what I bought them for, and then they went down to 55 in the sale in that interim between me ordering and then being delivered. Right, I ordered these in a size 38, and even though they've got an elasticated waistband, they feel large, so I probably should have gone for a 36. They're 100% wool, and they are cropped. On me, they're very, very cropped. This is definitely not a trouser that I would go for, but they do feel very, very nice and slinky. They are very thin. And I was going to say you could, because they're not super fitted, they are more of like a straight leg kind of joggery type trouser. You could put a thermal pair of leggings underneath. However, they are cropped, so you would just end up with thermals poking out the bottom, and then if you tried to ruche them up, they might end up working their way down. So I feel like these are not a winter trouser despite being wool. They're very, very thin wool. I don't like these. Don't know how else to put that any other way. I just think that for the full price amount, there are better trousers to be had out there than these. So next item is the wool barrel leg trousers, and I got these in navy. Oh my god. I wish you could just see the vibe. I should have set up a camera to give like the full body view. These are, I thought the last pair was short. These are even shorter. These are almost like culottes on me. And I don't think that is where they are supposed to fit. However, top-wise, so immediately they're a miss. They're a no from me. Top section is lovely. They feel so comfortable. I really like this fit. They fit nicely around the waist, the bum, the fabric is nice, 100% responsible wool, standard wool again, but obviously super fine. It doesn't say super fine merino, but it's got that vibe. It's got that sort of thin wool fabric, suiting kind of fabric. But my God, are they short? I just can't believe how short they are. Now, as I said, they are a barrel shape, so they do have this kind of balloon shape in each leg, which I don't know if I'm a big fan of. If I was going to go for a trouser, I would usually go for a slim, straight or tapered, sometimes even like a cigarette, which is straight, or a carrot leg, which again is tapered, just different words for tapered. But barrel leg, I don't know. There's something about these that, no, it's such a shame because the top fits so nicely for a pair of tailored trousers. It's got really nice deep pockets, and then the below section really lets them down. Definitely a shame. So let's move on to the next pair, which I'm going to try on individually and then as a suit, which is what I bought these for. So these are the slim leg wool trousers, which I again bought in navy. These are much better for me, and I knew they would be just from the photo. They're a much better length, the perfect kind of length for just wearing with a pair of trainers. They've got a nicer fit on the leg for me, especially with long legs. I like to emphasise the longness of my legs, and this is definitely more of a cut or style of trousers that I would wear to do that. I like the fit around the waist. They feel less restrictive, even though I did like the fit of the barrel leg because they were a little bit higher waist. They fit nicely. This would be my preferred fit, would be something lower on the waist. Quite a little sort of masculine style to them, which is very much part of my style. And I did say that I was gonna, I don't know if this fabric is actually the same, but I'm gonna try it on anyway. I was gonna make a bit of a suit with this blazer that I bought. Yeah, the fabric is not matching, which is a shame. I did actually think this was like more of a matching suit, but navy might not show up so much. But I wanted to create like a little suit, pop it on with a pair of trainers in the cutaways, just so that you can kind of see how their tailoring looks as a whole. Obviously, if you work in more of a workwear environment where you have to be a bit smarter and can't necessarily get away with trainers in the way that I do, then you could definitely style it up with some court shoes or some loafers or something like that. But Cos tailoring from the rail today has been a little bit hit and miss, but I think they do have very nice tailoring. Right, let's get back on the winter track and let's dive into the category of coats. So this is the belted double-faced wool coat. It does feel nice and warm, and obviously when it comes to winter coats, Your needs are going to vary depending on where you are in the world. I know many of you Canadians might be looking at me like I could not survive in that as a winter coat, because you need the big, thick, you know, head to floor, down-filled thermal coats. And I get that, but over here in this country, especially depending on what you're getting up to in your day-to-day, if maybe you're just on a school run and you're just in and out the car and the time spent outside was very minimal, so a coat like this would definitely suffice. So it depends where you live in your sort of lifestyle as to what really your needs are for a winter coat. But as it goes, this does feel quite nice and warm and is quite oversized, so you can fit your layers under there. The sleeves are also nice and wide, so if you want to do a thermal and then a knitwear over the top, then yes. If I go back to the beginning of the video when I was talking about bat wings, this is not a bat wing appropriate coat. This is definitely just like a normal sleeve where the sleeve placement is in the usual position. So you couldn't get away with a bat wing sleeve under this coat. The belt is nice and long. Don't know if that's really a pro or a con, because it could start to dangle on the floor if it shifts. Definitely worth $225 when you compare it to lots of other slightly more premium brands that don't double face their fabrics. This feels a lot heavier. And the fabric is also really nice and soft. It almost feels like it has cashmere in it, and that's probably because the wool is blended with tencel. Tencel is very, very soft. And that will also give it a little bit more durability in there as well when wool is blended with something that's a bit more hardy. Now, the next one is a double-breasted wool oversized coat. Well, it's definitely oversized. It's absolutely ginormous, and I got a size small in this. To note, it does say on the website that this item runs large, and of course it says it's oversized in the description, so I probably should have gone for an extra small if I didn't want this really oversized kind of fit, because the shoulders even feel massive. It does, however, have a slight drop sleeve, so I could try it on with this batwing jumper just to see, because it does have, and you can see when it's on, it has that slightly more cocoon shape to it. The pockets are nice and deep. It is just very, very large. So yeah, I'm a UK size 10. I ordered a small. I probably should have gone. There's a lot of room in here. I could really layer up. Again, I think Cos is just always good at creating really nice, high quality items using, for the high street especially, really nice fabrics. And when wool content and other sort of natural fibres are responsible wool standard, or mohair again fits in the responsible wool standard, I just think that that will always contribute to the pricing. It's always a good thing to note as well, and I don't normally recommend that people sign up to newsletters and things like that, but sometimes Cos, I find that Cos does send me a percentage off or just little things like that, and not all the time, but every now and then. So if there was something that you had in your wish list from Cos, it's worth signing up to the newsletter, just so that if you were going to get any discounts, every little helps, as they say. Right, that is this coat. Let's move on to the last coat, which on the hanger I think might be my favourite, along with the brown. Right, this is a collared double-faced wool coat. Again, $250 like the black one, and it is the same makeup as the first coat. So 60% responsible wool standard wool and 40% tencel or lyocell, you might know it as. And fabric wise, yes, it's identical to the brown one. It feels exactly the same. It feels quite heavy again, not quite as heavy as the brown, because that is more of a double-breasted, so there is more fabric there, but it does feel really nice. As the title would suggest, it is double-faced, so there is more fabric there. Yeah, nice and soft. Again, with that lyocell in there, it gives the fabric a little bit more durability, but also, given that lyocell, tencel lyocell, it's very soft fabric, it almost feels like it has a bit of a cashmere blend in there. Lengthwise, this on me comes to like mid-shin, which I think the brown coat was slightly longer and the black double-breasted coat was slightly shorter. I think this is a nice length. I also like the length of the brown, but it definitely is a coat that you would just need to really assess the style and colour if that fits for you. But otherwise, I would say it's a winner. It's a really, really beautiful coat. Right, now I only have 2 items left, and those are bags. So this is the pocket leather crossbody, I think it's called. Comes in 2 colours, this sort of taupey beigey colour and also black. And it has an adjustable strap there as well, so that you can wear it more as a shoulder. I can shorten that as well and wear it slightly shorter as a shoulder bag. And I believe I should be able to lengthen this as well, which I might have to do off camera to avoid the facial expressions. Right, I've done it, but admittedly I haven't put the little silver stoppers back in the holes, but I've done it. So basically the strap slides along the other half of the strap, so you can't fully detach it, but it slides along. It's going to get stuck on that. It's a little bit fiddly, but you do have the options. Slide, so you can make it shorter and then you can make it longer. And I'm not going to struggle with trying to fit that back on, but this is the longest length you can wear it, which is definitely crossbody-able. So it's perfect kind of crossbody length, perfect size for this. Is how I usually wear my slouchy banana. I sort of rest my arm on it, almost like a sling, and this is again perfect kind of size for that. There is a zip closure along the top, which when I used to live in London, I used to talk about security, especially when on the tube and in the streets. Always handy to have a zipper rather than something that's open or something with a magnetic closure on the top, because it is a little bit more secure. There's then a sort of concealed zippy pocket here as well, so if you had higher value item, like your phone or wallet or whatever, you could put it in that bit, and then that is close to your body. You've got these 2 magnetic pockets either end. They could be like lip balm pockets. And then interior wise, it's quite nice and spacious. It's got a nice canvas lining, and there are some other pockets inside as well. The leather, it feels quite nice. I've had a few Cos bags, and they, you know, they do really well, especially if you're looking for something that is genuine leather, but maybe you can't stretch to a lot of the price points of designer bags. And more so if you're looking for something that has that very minimalistic vibe and aesthetic to it, which obviously Cos embodies very well. So if you are looking for styles like Acne, the Row, that kind of vibe, I think Cos is always a much more affordable, a vastly more affordable alternative to turn to. And they are really decent quality as well. I feel like Cos is one of those brands that really don't sort of skip a step when they're thinking about their designs and quality and the fabrics they use. So yes, leather bags. Yes, I actually have another one over here as well. This is one that they've had for I think a couple of years now again, and this is a design function that a lot of Cos bags have. They are adjustable so that you can adjust the strap or handles or whatever it may be, so that you have a little bit more versatility on it. This one here you can adjust on either side, and this particular bag came in a few different sizes. I actually had a smaller, more cropped size, but this is a slightly larger one, and I think there's a super size one again. But in terms of security, it is just the magnetic closure on the top with a zippy pouch inside. This one, in terms of price, is £155, which I know that is a lot of money. But if you are looking again for a very sort of minimalistic, and this bag I feel like does have a slightly designer-esque look to it, then obviously Cos is the more affordable route to go if your budget does not permit luxury brands. And again, as I mentioned with, was it tailoring? Look for Cos on the pre-loved market. I mean, there's obviously always sales that you can go by, but Cos pre-loved, you're going to get some really, really good stuff at a very, very reasonable rate. And yeah, you can grab yourself an absolute bargain. Right, that is me done. I have come to the end of my rail. If there are any brands that you guys would like me to do, I call this a try on because I have tried items on, but it is also like a bit of a review as well. If there are any brands in particular that you would like me to review, then do let me know down in the comments section below. And yes, for now, thank you as always for watching, and remember next Sunday is the what's new in my wardrobe, so I'm going to be sharing the new items that I have purchased over the last couple of months since the last what's new in my wardrobe video, and that will be up Sunday next week. Hope you all enjoy your weeks ahead, and I will see you then.